Hi, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for coming, joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation as well.
It is a great pleasure. All right. You are currently in France, right?
Obviously, yes.
Obviously, for real. How do you want?
Because we just talked about that off
Wow.
off camera. Yes, I am in
Well,
France.
it is for the viewers.
Okay, I'm in France, yes.
And yeah, I hope you are ready for us today.
I believe I'm ready.
All right. Should we start with a biography, or you want to first tell us what we'll be getting today? Like what we'll be learning from you tonight?
Mm, yeah, basically, I'm just going to be talking about the topic exploring legitimate opportunities to relocate from Nigeria, like what you need to look out for, what you are probably doing wrongly, and I mean how you should be prepared and what opportunities are there. So literally that's what I'm going to be talking about.
All right, that is nice. So yeah, for those who don't know Mide or Mide Nancy, as she should I call ourselves? Oh, so is that a Christian name, like a
No, it's
unique?
my name. They're my middle names. Olamide Nancy.
All right, the first time I saw the word Mide Nancy, like this girl don't go by under name.
But I just use them as my stage names. So because they're my two middle names and I like them.
Wow, they are lovely. Okay,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So, Olamide Dada, a multimedia media advocate for cultural exchange. Oladoyin Olamide Dada, is also known as Mide Nancy, is an enthusiastic Nigerian born in Ibadan City, Nigeria, residing in France. She is not only a linguistic and educator, but also a multimedia advocate for cultural exchange. Her journey takes a dynamic turn with the establishment of a YouTube channel where she shares valuable insights on relocation and studying abroad experiences. Oladoyin's early exposure to linguistic diversity fueled her passion for cross-cultural communication. Her academic journey at the Obafemi Awolowo University laid the groundwork for her linguistic expertise, with a focus on French linguistics. Driven, driven by a profound desire for cultural immersion, Oladoyin's relocation to France not only deepened her linguistic understanding, but also broadened her perspective on global interconnectedness. As an educator in France, Oladoyin found fulfillment in teaching English to native English speakers from high school to the university level, thereby fostering mutual understanding through language education. On her YouTube channel, she shares informative video offering guidance on relocation, study abroad experiences, and insights into intercultural communication. Her engaging content caters to a diverse audience, from language enthusiasts to individuals contemplating international journeys. Viewers not only learn about language acquisition, but also gain practical advice on navigating the challenges of living in a new country. Mide, that is very long, honestly.
Thank you. I didn't want to cut you, but you made a mistake. You said teaching English to native English speakers. So it should be native French people, but it's okay.
I'm sorry if I could use an excuse or
No,
any excuse. I just like it is because it is long.
it's okay. But it's good to like, know how to talk about yourself. It's good when you can also talk about yourself and give yourself know how to write about your own self.
That's lovely. Probably if we have the opportunity after tonight's session, you can work us on that also.
No, there's no need. There's no need.
Before you have the platform, maybe I should quickly just chip this in because I'm curious. I could have asked you as a friend, but then, well, I choose to use this platform, so forgive me. How many countries have you been to?
I actually don't have a list, and I've not been to many countries, to be honest. I know people feel like, oh, but you're abroad, you should have gone to many countries, but it is money. So, obviously, if you've arrived or if you have rich parents and everything, it's possible for you to be traveling everywhere. But I've not really traveled to many countries. Most of my countries I've traveled to are actually African countries. So, that's it.
With the number, if I should put it to you, be up to 20.
I don't even think I've traveled to 10 countries, to be very honest.
And you really explored Europe. How have you done it?
I've not explored the whole of Europe. I've just explored few countries that are just close to where I live. That's it.
You want to tell me your favorite other than France?
My favorite?
Other than France.
Oh, it's probably Luxembourg because I stayed longest there other than France. So, and I really like the life there, the chilled nature of it. The standard of living is very high, but it's so cool and so cute. Like, it's everything is just proper. Like, Luxembourg is so chilled. If you are someone that you just want to silently make money and, just silently live your life, no fame, nothing, Luxembourg is a go-to country. So I really like it. But in terms of tourism, there's really nothing in Luxembourg to do. So
So which country will you choose for tourism?
probably France, because you can always go. I've not even explored the south of France. I've not been to the south. So France, you can go to the south. You can go to the like different regions in France. So I think so far France, because I haven't been to so many countries in Europe. So I really don't know.
What about African country? What will you say your favorite is your
African countries so far, my favorite is probably Ivory Coast because I've stayed there longest as well. I stayed there for 3 months. So basically, in terms of tourism, there's nothing much per se, but it's still kind of okay. So yeah, I
So
think
I think some of the things that influences your choices are the longer you stay in those
yeah,
countries.
the
Of
longer
course,
I stay, yeah, because I've been to some places that I only went there like on a day trip. I went, I came back, so I don't really like take in the whole
countries
country.
like
Countries like Germany, like I've been to Germany like on 2 or 3 different occasions, just day trips. I've been to like, Ghana, it was just a day trip. And I know lots of people that have gone to Ghana and they really love it. Like it's number one on their list. And that's because I didn't get to go to all the places that I think people always went to and felt they were interesting. So that's it.
sprichst, sprichst du Deutsch?
Ja, ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch.
Gut Deutsch,
ich,
wirklich?
Ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch. That's what I said.
Oh,
I didn't say
about
ich spreche gut Deutsch.
okay, let me now rephrase this one. Parler tout Jesus, parler tout français.
Oui, je parle français.
All right, you are the platform.
Okay. Um, like I said, thank you very much to Taiwo Shokatire and every member of Insightpreneur for this opportunity. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the topic. If you see me looking here, I have my notepad and I always go everywhere with it. Exploring legitimate opportunities to relocate from Nigeria. So I'm Nigerian and I'm going to be speaking like as if I'm speaking to Nigerians. So if you're not Nigerian and you're watching this webinar, I'm sorry in advance. So first thing I'm going to start with is by asking you a question. Are you ready? Like, are you actually ready to relocate out of Nigeria? And how do you know you are ready? Are you thinking you're ready because every other person around you is jackpaing? So jackpa is a Nigerian slang to like that we used to say immigrate, like travel out of relocate literally. Are you ready because every other person is ready or you're actually ready? So how do you eventually know that you're ready? You need to be ready emotionally, you need to be ready financially, you need to be ready mentally. There are many people that travel out of the country and for the first time they start talking about depression. That's they are entering or getting depressed, and some of them eventually relocate back home after staying for a few months. So you need to be in a mental space for the journey to come. You might think that people living abroad, they are living their best lives and everything. Of course, some are living their best life, but the journey is not the same for everyone. My story is going to be different from my friend's story. So you need to be prepared for your own unique story. So now that if you can answer that question sincerely in your mind and you feel like you're actually ready to a good extent, then let's delve into the opportunities that there are. Of course, the very first one is going to be study. Like it's one of the legal ways you could travel out of Nigeria to go to a different country. But of course, there are many people that they cannot as well go through the study routes because of several reasons. Maybe they had very low grades in like for their bachelor's degree or for their previous education, they had very low grades. Some dropped out of school in the middle of it, and so they're just looking for like other means. Good news is that I came prepared for you as well in this webinar. So um actually, there are many people that contact me on social media, on Instagram, and ask me, can I make like job visas for them because they cannot go travel out of Nigeria through education routes? That can I just make visas for them? And I'm like, who are the people telling you people that you can easily get visa, like job visa? Like, how will I just tell you to pay 2 million and give you a job visa? So there are so many agents out there that, or so many so-called agents telling you people to pay them money, and I'm just going to discourage you from doing that first before I get into what I want to say, because of course there are many people that they're just making a living off gullible Nigerians and gullible like Africans because of the desperation of wanting to travel. So you have to be very careful. So first thing you want to do when you know that you are ready to actually travel out of the country is to network. And what do I mean by networking? It's not by sending messages to everybody that you know that have traveled out of Nigeria and disturbing, not disturbing, but sending them messages every day. Please help me, help me, help me. That's not going to solve it. We all have our own baggages that we're kind of solving. I have my days of shedding tears in my room, and nobody on the social media can help me. So it comes as a burden when you keep sending messages to everybody. Networking means joining groups. There are groups that I joined even today, not because I want to travel, I want to leave France and travel to the countries of those groups, but I just joined to just be like on top of information, to have responses to people's questions, and to just have information in this life. And of course, I still have my whole family back in Nigeria. So there are groups. If it's Canada you want to go to, if it's UK you want to go to, if it's Sweden, if it's, there are groups on WhatsApp, on Telegram. You just have to look for them and join those groups. Tell somebody. I know there's a thing in Nigeria, like you don't want to tell anybody, like you're traveling out, you just want to be in your room and do it secretly, hide. And when someone tells you, what have you been up to these days? You just want to tell them nothing, 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 and then you just hide. You need to tell someone, look for someone you trust. I'm not saying you should go and tell someone that is like you don't trust. Look for someone you trust, that maybe both of you can be on this journey together. At the end of the day, when you are doing it together, it might actually be faster and easier for both of you, or three of you, or a group of friends. So network, meet people. If that person finds information, they'll be able to tell you about it, that, oh, I found this, have you checked it out? If you find something, you'll be able to tell them. Don't hoard information to yourself, tell them as well, and you guys should share it. It helps. That I know groups of people that have gotten opportunities to travel out together, to relocate from Nigeria to go together, and that's because they never ordered information from one another. So don't be that type of friend. um so I talked about online. Next, another way that you can network is like go online. And many of these schools, that's for study, many of these schools, they have like websites, they have like LinkedIn pages or Facebook pages. Go and follow their pages. There's like information board. They always have like information. Sometimes they choose to do like online open days. So open days is like a kind of open webinar. The school is going to organize it. Anyone that is willing to maybe apply for one or more of their programs, you just join the open day, and then you can ask your questions. Is there going to be like is there going to be scholarship? Can I study in English? Can I study in English? This, that. You'll be able to ask them first hand questions. Sometimes these schools, they take attendance, they take the names of the people that attend registered for this open days. And when you eventually apply to their programs, they can maybe, I'm not saying because you attended their program, they will not give you admission even when you do not qualify. Of course, they are going to know that, okay, they will just know that your name rings a bell somehow. And who knows, maybe that's just the thing that is going to stand out for you. So network Of course, you can also research and look for. I have people that message me on LinkedIn because they saw like the name of my university and they just ask questions about my university or my program. Random people from the USA, from Sweden, not necessarily Nigerians. So you can, when I was trying to apply for a scholarship in the UK, I sent just a normal direct message. You know, you construct a message that looks very good to a student that was a student, like to someone that was a student in that university. I just messaged her and I talked to her, and she was able to like set up a Zoom call with me just like that randomly. I've set up Zoom call with someone too randomly. So, you know, it's just about your approach. How do you approach these people? Oh, my name is this. I'm looking to apply to your program. You know, send a cold, normal, natural mail to the person or his direct message. And of course, if it's a nice person, they are going to want to engage you in the conversation and tell you, oh, this is what you should do differently. This is what this person went far, as far as helping me to review my motivation letter, all for free. So what I'm telling you is that don't just sit in your room and be hoping that one day you will leave this country. You need to actually make a move. You need to take a step and then network, increase your social. Don't just be with those group of friends that everything you are doing is just talking. I'm hoping, I'm praying that you relocate out of Nigeria. You need to actually start meeting people that matter and people that could help you to actually get to this place that you are looking for. Another thing I have here is that decide on which countries. So if you are looking to relocate out of Nigeria, do you have a specific country or do you have a specific region like, oh, Europe or like America or Asia? So you know that you're applying to countries in this continent, or you're applying to, it's just have a list of countries. Not that someone just sent you a link one day, bam, you just took the link, started applying to that school because they said some of Nigerians used to get into this program. Another person send you link. It means you don't have direction, you don't have a plan, you are just desperate. So you need to show that you're not desperate about it by actually organizing yourself. Be organized. Let your life as well be organized. Decide on which countries you are working with. Write them down. Then one after the other, search for the schools that are offering the program that you're interested in. I have lots of people sending me messages and telling me, please, I studied business admin. Which program should I go for? Of course, it's not a bad question, but the bad thing is that if you should, sometimes I ask them eventually, like, what are the programs that interest you for your own future? And they're like, that's why I'm asking you. I don't know. To be honest, it's a very funny thing. Like, you don't know. How do I want to know? I'm a total stranger. I don't know you from anywhere. There's really no way for me to know. So you could tell me that, okay, I studied business administration for my bachelor's degree. For my master's, I have these options, this. Do you think it's okay? Or do you have any other suggestions? Then I can look at these four options or two options that you've given me. Look for, like, think about related programs I know that people around me are also studying and give it to you. But when you just suddenly message me out of the blue and tell me to tell you what you should qualify for, it doesn't work that way. And don't forget, I have my own life to live too. So I'll just maybe not answer you or something. So you need to make an effort concerning yourself as well. So when you draft out these countries, start looking for schools. Draft out the schools, if it's 10 schools or five schools in each university, bring them, write everything out. Then start looking at the requirements. What are the things I need? I have a folder on my computer or on my laptop where I put all my application documents just for school, academic application documents, professional application documents. You know, have your motivation letters, even though you're just going to tweak one or two things in the motivation, because it can be stressful to be drafting motivation letter every time. But just draft your motivation letter, have it in that folder. Put your academic CV in that folder. Put your professional CV in another folder. CV is also important. Many people have random CVs. You just have a random CV, and that's the one you're using for everything. You need to have an academic CV, a professional CV, and there should be differences. The academic CV is the one that will have conferences you've attended, is the one that will have online courses you've taken, is the one that will have things that relate to that program you're trying to apply to. Professional CV might be shorter, but it should be filled with keywords of the things that you've done in your past experiences, highlighting your strengths. That's the so it should there should be a distinction. I don't want to jump. So the first way is by study. So for you that you feel like, oh, I didn't finish my bachelor's degree with good grades, or I didn't graduate with good grades. I had a third class, I had a second class lower, or even something very worse. The good news is that this is your moment to start taking online courses. There are many free online course platforms, and even some are not free, but you can apply for financial aid. So I've applied for financial aid on like an online course platform like more than 3 times, and I always got it. You just have to, because they will ask you for a motivation for applying for financial aid, and most of the time you just have to explain that I'm from a country where the minimum wage is not even up to the minimum, like it's not even the minimum wage that I'm currently earning is not even up to the amount you guys are asking for the course. So I need this for my future, blah blah blah. You should be able to draft out something simple, send it to them, and they will give you financial aid. You take these online courses and you get certificates. So already your degree or your result was not great, but when you can show that you have like other experiences and other certifications, it stands you out of the crowd. So take online courses as well, volunteer here and there. Try to volunteer. I know that it's not easy in Nigeria to volunteer because they will use you. Like they will use your destiny self. So I know, but sometimes you have to think of the greater good. Like I remember I was once I decided to in my final year, I decided to go and to teach French in a language institute, and I was being paid 250 naira per hour. And the bike I'll take from my hostel to go and teach there is like 150. And sometimes straight from there, I have to take a bike to class, another 50 naira. So out of 250 of 1 hour, I've already spent 200 out of it. So it wasn't like as if I was doing it for the money. I was doing it because of the experiences and because I know that it is something that will stand me. It will just stand out in my CV, especially coming from a country like Nigeria, where from secondary school we are not like advised to like take like jobs. In this type of environment now, school students have started working, even if it's like working at restaurants, McDonald's, working at like stores folding clothes, and they do their works and they get like paid. So already they have those experiences lining up in their CV. But Nigerians, most of us, we graduate and there's no job experience because our parents were the ones that actually sponsored our education, and the we never had any reason to look for a job. So you can make a difference now if you've not graduated or something, and start taking up jobs, even if it's below. Try to take it for the greater good, which is later. So, volunteer. You can also volunteer abroad. Follow companies on LinkedIn, follow them, look at all these United Nations, UNESCO, and different type of organizations, humanitarian services. They ask for volunteers. Volunteer, send in your application to volunteer for them. These things are the things that they are looking for abroad. They want someone who is like selfless, someone that you are not just all about making money, you are all about giving back to the society. So these are some of the things that as Nigerians, many of us are not trained or we are not used to. So these things will definitely stand you out. So take online courses, volunteer, look for internships also as well. Look for internships here and there. It could be international internship, it could be physical internship, international internship. Where will you find them? Be online. Let your online presence be solid. And online, I'm not saying be online on Instagram or be online on TikTok. Go to professional social media platforms and be online. Be active. Post something little you did. Oh, I volunteered here today. My day was not good enough because I did this, I failed that. Let them know. 1 or 2 followers will follow you. That way, when you are searching for an internship, it's not just like you are a nobody. So people know you. Do you get? So you need to actually be present online, not just one day, just suddenly bam, show up on LinkedIn and start saying there's no job. Do you get? So it begins from now. Another way you obviously can um relocate from Nigeria legitimately is by getting a job like directly before you even leave Nigeria. You might be wondering, how is this even possible? It is very possible because lots of people have actually gotten jobs directly from Nigeria and they traveled because of that. There are many jobs out there, but the problem is qualification. Do you really qualify for them to, could like for them to be able to sponsor your relocation and your visa and everything? They need to see that you're actually worth it. In many countries, like in Europe, like countries in Europe, for them to recruit a foreigner like us, they need to be able to like go through like legal process, like in the court of law and all those things, to say that there was no European Union member that qualified, so they are choosing this person. So many companies don't even want to go through that stress. They just choose an European Union person so that they will not have to start going through procedures. So if a company, for a company to really want to go through that procedure for you, it means your application is worth it, and your interview, the interview they had with you too, is worth it. So many people just apply so that they can have the numbers. They'll have applied to 100 jobs, but there's no intentionality in the application. The application is like empty. So it's better you apply to 10 jobs that your application is very strong. If they call you for interview, your interview is like very strong, than for you to apply to 200 and you're just applying, you're just sending the same CV. There's nothing inside the CV, like the motivation letter. You might even forget to edit the name of the last company out of it. So you need to be intentional about applying. Where do you get this type of jobs? Of course, I've mentioned LinkedIn. There's Indeed as well. And then based on the country, there are different type of professional job searching or seeking sites. So you need to know. That's why the first thing I said, deciding on the country, comes in. If it's Canada you are looking for jobs in, there is like, I think, jobopportunities.ca, like Canada. You go there and look for the ones, put the keywords that relates to if it's healthcare or this, that. If it's UK, they have their own. If it's France, they have their own. If you don't even find, which you will definitely find on Google, if you type job opportunities in Sweden, you will find something will come out on Google. But many people don't want to search. People want to be spoon fed. So you need to take that chance on yourself. And first you need to feel like you're actually worth it, that you can actually get a job. So many people don't believe in themselves. So when you believe in yourself that I have what it takes, then look at the job. Does it relate with your previous experience, job experiences, and your academics? Because you can't have a bachelor's degree in counseling and applying, except you have, like, okay, let me use myself. You can't have a bachelor's degree in like French and then I suddenly start applying for a a job in maybe Netherlands in data analysis without having anything in between. So maybe I studied French and I've taken lots of online certifications, online courses, and everything in data analysis. I have like 3 certificates. Maybe I volunteered for an online company for 3 months in data analysis and everything. Of course, it was sucking my data and everything, but I was just doing it. Maybe I did that for 2 months or 3 weeks maximum or something. Then I know that I stand a chance to apply for job opportunities in data analysis. But if there's nothing in between my education and the application, is just logical. They'll just discard your application. So you need to know what you carry before you go for it. So I mentioned education, of course. I mentioned jobs. I mentioned networking. I mentioned adapting your CV to what you're applying for. If you're applying for education, be intentional when you're drafting out your CV. Then as well, many people want to travel out of the country and they want to go to countries where, like, there will be language barriers. So if you think that having a second language, a foreign language, will stand you out or will help you a bit more, why don't you invest in learning that language or language they speak in that country for another 1 year, just for you to have like an international certification in that language? Do you get? Maybe you want to go to Poland. You already know a university you want to apply to in Poland, and you feel like the fact that you don't have Polish, in any, like, you don't speak Polish, it's one of the reasons why the school has been rejecting you or something. So why don't you look for a way of learning like Polish, even if it's just basic Polish? Of course, languages like Polish, we don't have like institute for them in Nigeria. So it will be an online walk, you just following Polish YouTube channels and trying to listen to Polish radio, looking for Polish textbooks and online resources. That will be on you. But it was just an example. Also, why don't you invest in international certifications? There are people that I know that it's not like they had any school or any job in mind though. They just decided to go and do IELTS, decided to do maybe it's the Cambridge one or TOEFL, did it, went to French learning institute and started learning French or learning German. They were just learning. I remember myself too after graduation. I did German in first and second year of university, but of course, by the time I graduated at after 4 years, I was already like forgetting many things. So, and as at that time, France was not even one of the countries that were taking in like immigrant, not immigrants, but like allowing foreigners to come. It was quite close. It was Germany that was kind of like open. So I started learning German. I was just learning it like with from a friend just to be better. And if I can have a certification, then I know that when I want to start applying to universities in Germany, it won't really be a problem for me to integrate in the like society and everything. So why don't you take the time to learn something? Sometimes you just need to ask yourself that what am I giving back? Like what skill am I going to have? Like it's just one of the reasons why I decided that I don't think I can stay in Nigeria. Even though I wasn't specifically thinking of France, I was just thinking, I even told my parents, I told my parents that it's possible I want to go to Ivory Coast to go and do my master's because I'm just looking at what can I offer or what can Nigeria offer me as well? As someone that studied French in Nigeria, as at that time, even my dad's friend, they're like, why didn't you study business admin? What do you want to use French to do? This, that. They were frowning upon it. So I told myself that if I'm able to go to a French speaking country, then I'll be able to give back something that they probably don't have. If it's English, if it's my skill in this and that, or I'll be able to, I'll just be able to. So you need to ask yourself, what are you give? That's why when I decided as well, when I wanted to do my master's, I was like, I don't want to do something in languages again. I want to do like something that is a skill, even if it's going to be in language, it should be a skill so that I know that now I have French language, I have English language, and I have a skill. So the three together, I'll be able to use it to function anywhere I want. So you need to first ask yourself that solid question like, what are you giving back? What do you get? It's just natural if you're applying for a job, like, what are they going to be benefiting from like taking me in? What am I giving them? So you need to make yourself valuable. And this ways of making yourself valuable is to get jobs. I said get jobs, get like certifications, make yourself like it's like you're selling yourself on the highest bidder. You're not selling yourself or before someone come to the comment section and say, why must we sell ourselves to them? No, it's more like you are presenting yourself with all the things that you have, so they don't have a choice but to want you. And when they want you, they will go extra mile to have you. And of course, when you eventually get to their country after a couple of years, if everything is stable for you, you might actually be able to get to the peak of your career very quickly and all. So um I don't know if you guys have questions why I'm kind of trying to look at my points. Yeah, as well, there are countries, okay, if you don't want to apply for job, you don't want to apply for school and everything, there are countries, if you have money, there are countries that will definitely take you in for what's the name of this thing, direct permanent residency. You just need to have money and have certifications. Yes, that's it. Have money, have certifications, because all these people going for getting Canadian permanent residency, it's not like as if they just paid and they took them. Oh. They were on the list for like a year max or minimum for some of them. They were on the list for a year with all their qualifications. Some did IELTS, they did it 10 times before they got the perfect score, husband and wife. Some invested money in doing this French one and TEF, is test of French. They kept doing it until they got, and that test alone, the French one is 210K as at that time. I don't know how much it is now in Nigeria. So kept doing this test. So they spent a lot of money. That's why I said, if you know that education cannot work for you, getting a job before you get there cannot work for you, try to invest your money in doing permanent residency. But another thing I want to tell you is that be careful of the so-called agents that will join groups and tell you to pay exorbitant fees, that they want to help you to relocate and do this. There are many people that have come to cry in my DM that the person that they were talking to told them to bring all their savings and they gave it to the person. How can they get it back? I'm like, yeah, I'm just a small girl. I'm just a YouTuber. I don't know how you can get your money back. Oh. I cried with them too because there's nothing they can do at the end of the day. So be very careful. Don't be gullible. You can. One thing I just want to tell you, and I know you probably heard it everywhere, is that there's no way you cannot do well. So if it takes you 2 to 3 years to actually gather yourself well, be more financially stable in Nigeria before you now start your relocation plans, it's not too much. It's not too long. It's what you are doing in that 3 years that will make it look like a waste of time. If you are just sitting down and folding your hands in those 3 years, 3 years will come and you still will not go anywhere. But if you just give yourself a time frame that within the next 1 year, I want to do something that I've not been doing. I want to take courses. I want to go and learn a language. I want to increase my online presence, my professional presence. I want to follow companies. Yes, for jobs, follow companies, follow them, engage their posts, like it, comments, leave intellectual comments that does not have grammatical errors. Be using Chat GPT or Grammarly to correct your grammatical errors before you comment there, so that they would not say that who is this person. Do you get? So follow companies on LinkedIn. There are many companies I follow, not because I want them to give me job or I want to rub my feet. Even my own French friends, citizens, they are all following this company. So who am I to say no? I'm not following them. I don't want them to think I will follow them. So if people should follow them from Nigeria, you should be at alert that opportunities can fly. And there's a lady that messaged me on LinkedIn. She just started following me on LinkedIn. So she was telling me, she said she had a lot of things to tell me, that could we speak on WhatsApp. So we got connected on WhatsApp, and she just told me that she just followed a Luxembourgish. She likes Luxembourg and she wants to relocate to Luxembourg. So she just followed a Luxembourgish company. She followed all of them in the this thing, and then she pitched herself to the CEO. Like she spoke with the CEO, like sent a message to the CEO that, oh, this is who I am, this attached her CV and everything. And just randomly like that, they just scheduled an interview with her. It's not like as if the company said they were looking for um like a position, someone to fill in any position. She just pitched herself and they scheduled from Nigeria, the same Nigeria that all of us, all of you are. So most of you are, sorry. They just scheduled an interview with her. The board of directors, not board of directors, but like the CEO and all of them, they were there. They to listen to her on the interview. They had like two different interviews with her. So I'm just saying that things are happening just right under your noses, but because you are just on your own, you don't really some of you have even accepted your fate, that see, it can never be me. So scholarships are out there too for grabs. You just need to know how to find them. Some people, it is sending cold mails to professors in random universities. This is who I am. This is what I've been doing. When you are able to, when you know what you've been doing too, you'll be proud to mention it. But when you don't have anything, to be honest, like your CV is empty, when there's nothing to say about yourself, it's you won't even be encouraged to actually send that bold mail. I remember when Taiwo, Mr. Shokasir was reading my this thing and it was saying it was too long. It's because I have something that I can say about myself, no matter how little. I have to be proud enough to talk about my own few achievements. Of course, there are people that I know that their achievements will go on pages and pages, but no matter how little mine is, even if it's just half a page or a page, I want to talk about myself. So, and I think we just need to do better in like networking, like making ourselves important by actually being important. That's courses and everything. If you have questions, I'm just going to look over if there's any other thing that I want to talk to you guys about. Yes, I also wanted to talk about attending online conferences. All the conferences I've attended, I think almost everything have been free, because I just suddenly go on LinkedIn and I see like conferences that are like in relation to the things that I'm doing or my profession or something. And some are not even in relation. They're about like humanitarian, this thing, women empower girls, um Operation Feed the Nation, all those things. I just attend, register for the webinar. Some of them randomly, they just give you certificates for attending their conferences. So you don't know when that conference is going to be important. Of course, even though all this Operation Feed the Nation, empower women, and all those things is not in relation with my professional line, but I might want to like go for something. You really don't know what you are going to want to go for in the next 2 3 years. Not like a political position, but you might want to just apply for something in an humanitarian organization or something, and then they will ask you for what you've done, anything related to humanitarianism, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I've attended this conference, the ones that you just suddenly just attended randomly. So you need to actually be open to attending conferences. And here I noted that when I mentioned following companies, not necessarily the big ones like Amazon, Google, and everything. Of course, those big companies self, they don't even rate anybody. So follow small companies that are just starting, especially abroad. The companies that actually recruit people permanently and give them permanent positions are the small companies that are just coming up, because they want people that will come up with them. Not but what people are looking for are all these Google, Amazon, and everything. So when you're looking for companies, be strategic. You don't need to only follow the big ones. You can follow the companies that are just coming up. And like I said, be active on social media. And as well, I just noted down that some people don't have their passports as we're speaking. Try to get your passport. I mean, this is if you know that you really want to relocate. So by the time you're looking at your passports and they gave you 5 years on your passport and your passport is expiring, you yourself, you are going to be like, hey, this passport must not expire before my relocation eventually clicks. So sorry, I'm just plugging my laptop. So you really need to work towards getting a passport, an international passport, not the ECOWAS one, the one you can travel within Africa. Or you can start with that if you have money, but just get the international one. At least it will ginger you to actually want to apply for things before the passport expires. So basically, I think I've talked about everything that I plan to talk about. Um, if you guys have questions, you can definitely ask me questions. If I
Midi,
remember
thank you very
anything
much.
else, I'm going to
Midi,
just
thank you very much for modeling my name.
yeah. Oh, sorry, I've ordered your
My,
name.
my, my,
Oh,
my, na-
sorry.
my name is Shotkare, not Shotkat.
Ah, Shotakari. I used to say Shokatiri. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
it,
I'm
it, it,
sorry.
it is it is all right. It is all right.
Okay.
All right. I think.
Oh, sorry. I have one last thing. One last thing I want to
Okay.
say is that keep applying. Keep applying. It only takes one successful application, because sometimes you feel like I just want to give up. I know many people that are finally on they got fully funded scholarship in countries of some countries somewhere, and they got it after like their maybe fifth or seventh attempt. So imagine if they had given up on their third attempt. So keep applying to schools, keep applying for direct jobs, keep applying. Don't give up. I feel like eventually it takes just one positive response to change everything. The whole story changes, and your interviews as well. Keep preparing like adequately for these interviews, and at the end of the day, I think if you have questions, you can ask questions now. Yeah.
All right. How should I start? Should I probably start with mine, or we allow people to ask their questions? Okay, yeah, guys. If you would like to ask any questions, on the YouTube page there is a section whereby you can drop your comments and then just put the question mark in front. Or don't put the question mark. I'm definitely going to get it. And your own channel, like what channel did you use for your location program?
Oh yeah, personally, I actually didn't have like a relocation plan or something. At the time I relocated, it was not like as if I'd been planning it that I want to leave Nigeria, I want to leave Nigeria, but suddenly just something just came up. There was like an opportunity to travel to France to teach. Like I said, France was not even one of those countries that opened their doors. So I've never considered France, even though I studied French. Like I just never thought I was going to be able to make it into France directly, like at that point. So it was an opportunity to teach English in France, and that was for people who already speak French and this and that. So I just applied, and luckily I was chosen. So that's how I came to France. And since I was already in France, I just thought about it that I don't have a master's degree yet. It would be good for me to try to apply for one. And so that's literally how the journey has been.
Okay, and how has been your experience so far?
It's been the same question I was asked this morning in a like to fill in a questionnaire, and I wrote three things: challenging, full of thorns, and and what was the last thing I put? Eye opening. So I know people expect me to say beautiful, lovely, brilliant, but to be honest, it's been a challenging journey. There are good days, there are, of course, not too good days. It's been full of thorns in the sense that there are so many things that, of course, social media cannot see, that people go through behind closed doors, and eye opening in the sense that it helps you to see what, like, different versions of yourself. If I'm just back home, probably my parents are still like housing me at my age. Yeah, probably I'll still probably, I'm
That's
not lying.
probably you could be married.
No, I'll still probably be living with my parents. I know myself. I'll still probably be living in my parents' house and maybe working somewhere or something. I feel like I might not have been open to see like my capacity, like how, just how much I can like stretch myself and how strong I am as well. So it's been eye opening for me as well to just see different phases of life and just how I can fit into it.
Okay, I refreshed my browser earlier. I knew someone dropped a comment or a question the other time, and but I have it memorized, but I will not be able to project it. And I think the comment or the question was, not everyone has a particular destination. For example, some people primary motive. Okay, again, primary motive is just to using the word escape.
Mm.
I choose to use the English word rather than the Yoruba word. Escape the country. So, what is your comment on that?
Yeah, to be honest, it's not a bad thing to actually think of wanting to first escape. So many people escaped, like they just used education as a means, like they just use education as a means that let me first go, then when I get there I'll not think of ways of. You can also do that. It's not, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you like someone who is, it's normal, because the condition of things back home, if they were more favorable, of course you won't want to escape. Someone who escapes something is because they are just fed up of whatever condition they're in. So you can come with an escape mindset that you just want to come first. And then as time goes on, like I said, my experience has been eye opening. Your eyes will open to see that where you're escaping to is not really bed of roses, and you might need to escape again to something. So come now, there's no problem, to be honest.
Okay. Throughout this session, you made a lot of reference to writing CV or organize attending events and the likes, and I think that's probably inspired Rita's immense question. That's like, please, ma'am, I need a step-by-step approach on how to construct a good CV.
To be honest, I'm not an expert as well. So all I just want to say is that for writing a CV, there are many templates out there. You just have to be careful. Um I don't even know what to say, but because step by step cannot be like by the words of mouth. It's going to be someone actually putting you through like what to do. What I personally use for my CV is Europass, but Europass makes the CV overly long. It makes the CV overly long, but an Europass is accepted in like places like Europe. But if you take Europa CV to Canada, it will probably be thrown in the trash. Or if you take Europa CV, so every country have their own format. If I'm applying for something in the UK now, I have to first research on UK CV formats. Do they put pictures compulsorily or do they remove pictures? Canadian CV format is different as well. So, like I said, when you decide on the country, and decide on what you want to apply for. Is it studies? Is it school? Then you now know how your CV is going to be. But maybe I'm going to make a video on my channel about it. I know people have been asking me for the same, but I've just been postponing it because, to be honest, I just feel like CV is something, my CV will be different from your CV. Doesn't mean they will choose me and they won't choose you. They could choose both of us for the same thing. So it's just your, at the end of the day, it's just you projecting your previous experiences and how you can what you've been doing. That's literally what you need to put on your CV.
Okay, that's nice. Atigita, if you would like to, yeah, as she said earlier, she media has a personal YouTube channel where she usually creates content on our lifestyle in abroad, and at the same time, how people can explore different means to relocate to other countries. And as she said earlier, she said she's going to be creating videos on how to create CV. And if you have the chance, I for some reason would not be able to drop my personal WhatsApp number, but if you can connect through any of the Insights accounts, I may be able to connect you with someone who, depending on what you're going to do or depending on the kind of route you're following, sorry, uh, just say you want to speak with me through any of the Insights accounts. Someone is going to definitely attend to you. All right, Ola. Okay, let me go for it. Let me. I please. I want to ask: can someone be getting links to one can be applying constantly? I mean, if I can rephrase your questions, madam. If I did not rephrase it properly, just drop another comment and I'll be able to rephrase. I think she's probably asking for links to opportunities that one can apply. Okay, can apply to. I mean, yeah, Mide, you have it.
Well, like I said earlier, you can't just be looking for links that people will just, what if I send you link of people that are washing dead bodies? Like, I think it's just better to
Calm down.
join groups. No, 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 no. I'm not even, it's not even like like it's just when you narrow your focus, I have a group now that I am on, or for people that want to relocate to a particular country. So on that group now, they send links in relation to like jobs for that country. So you need to first join groups. But there's nobody that is actually very free that will just be sending links to one person. It's not possible. You need to join groups of different countries. Then when you join those groups, then they will be sending different type of links in relation to that country. There are groups like study in Canada groups. There are groups like permanent residents to Canada groups, like special routes to UK groups, special routes to Sweden. So when you join those groups, you'll be seeing links in relation to those countries, like education in Sweden, jobs in Sweden. So it will be best for you to look for groups, but to just be having someone to be sending you links, there's nobody that have like a bunch of links they are holding somewhere. Most people find them from groups too, and they just send it to their own friends or whoever they know that qualifies for it. But another place I know that you can probably find links will be on LinkedIn. But it's not like every day you just enter LinkedIn and you find a link. You need to be on LinkedIn, browse, search, follow companies, and you just suddenly find unnecessary like links. Some of them will be necessary, some of them will just be unnecessary, will not totally relate with you. So I think those are the only ways you can find links. To be very honest, they are not like easy.
Okay, and I think it has to do with the kind of opportunity that you're trying to explore. Uh, but I think with links, I would be assuming that the person is more or less considering the one of academic. And yeah, she already said okay, thank you. You what is the major factors that usually influence your decision to, even though I knew the opportunity to go to France just occurred, but then you could have just look at it and then uh blink your face at it, like just look at it and ignore. So, what influenced your decision to push?
uh at that point, what influenced my decision was because, sorry, I was already considering going to a French speaking country to maybe do a master's program or something, because I've, like I said when I was presenting, I said it, like opportunities for someone that studied French in Nigeria, there are not many. I'll probably be teaching in a primary school or a second or a private secondary school, and those are the things that were there for me. Like I've told you, like people were just
You
like,
could,
why did you study
you, you,
French?
you, you could be a lecturer.
But you don't just become a lecturer in a day. Like you just graduate bachelor's degree and they recruit you as a lecturer. Do you get? It's not done that way in Nigeria. So before you get to lecturer, you know what lecturers go through before they become lecturer. So I was like, I just need to do something better for myself. But I wasn't even like looking at France. I was even looking at Cote d'Ivoire, Republic of Benin, like to go a French speaking environment so that maybe I can stand a better chance. I can have to like a chance in which I can give them English, not necessarily in the teaching line. It can be in translation, it can be in anything, working for a multinational, multi-international company that would need someone that speaks French and English. So that was part of like, so when I saw that opportunity, I'm like, okay, I'm not even, I wasn't, as at that time, there was no Japa anything in the crowd, and Nigeria
Yeah,
was not that bad.
the trend was not.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if
Nigeria
Nigeria
was
was
not.
not that bad, but
Mhm.
I knew that it was not a
Yeah,
trend yet.
it was not that bad. So I didn't go with the mentality of I'm not coming back home. Do you get? So I went as it's an opportunity, a 7 months opportunity. I just went like, oh wow, so I can go to this country and go and better my French, meet people. Just the way I went to Ivory Coast for 3 months. This was just 4 months more than 3 months. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to go. So the opportunity presented itself for me to. I came back to Nigeria after the 7 months. Opportunity presented itself for me to go back again, and I went back again. So it wasn't really like something I had been planning secretly and all. So it just happened.
All right. Normally I would be sincere here. The ten Japa that we use in this topic, I just have to bury the actual me. I have a problem with the term itself. I
Okay.
rather consider like you are trying to explore an opportunity to probably want to move to somewhere that align with your dreams or your
Mhm,
goals, and rather not that you are trying to escape the country. But then, at the current state of the country, yeah, the word Japa is actually very applicable because the
mhm,
country is okay. I'm not going to continue that. And yeah, in addition to some of the things that she has mentioned, if you would have the luxury, I mean, individuals, you can make more research on some opportunities depending on the line that you fall into. For example, if you are going to UK, you can go through tech talent visa. I know, uh, I know Germany uses freelancers visa. I know Germany has Ausbildung. Are you familiar with Ausbildung, Mide?
Yeah, I'm familiar with house building. It's like what we called alternance in France. And I know that I have friends that applied for house building like after we graduated from school. They applied for the visa in advance. One, so normally in Nigeria they review it after like a year. So they applied 1 year in advance, and that was since I think 2020, and this 2023 they just eventually called them for interview. And so it's something they just did in advance as well. It's not like as if house building you go and apply today and you get it in 1 month. It's a year this thing. So that's another opportunity. I just didn't mention it because I don't want to mention something that I'm not 100% familiar with. Like
Oh,
I don't
oh.
want to just be that person that says, oh, travel to Japan through this route. I've never been to
Okay,
Japan. I don't have any friends. Yeah.
I think mainly what you mean is like you would rather be talk on something that is practical, so like something that is you are much familiar with,
That I'm personally like I can talk about. I
something
know
that you
people
follow
that
the
have been
route.
through. Yeah, yeah. I prefer not to go through the say things that I'm not sure that they will actually get to go to. Of course, there are many. Is it?
The thing is, as with many of these things, like at times, we need to be aware that there's a possibility for something,
Mm,
okay,
mm,
before you can say you want to explore it.
mm,
Using the topic itself, exploring. For example, I would not probably want to give it a shot that I should go to this country, okay, or
mm,
follow this particular means if I did know that there's a possibility, okay, like there's a possibility. So I think it may be worth mentioning some chances that are available, and even though it is not entirely what individual or you as an individual has gone through. I'm saying like I'm not saying we of course we have less than 10 yeah we have just like 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
So
of course.
yeah,
I wanted to work with the time as well. So in case there were questions, we could answer them. Yeah, definitely. Of
so
course, they are like healthcare. Those are jobs, literally. Healthcare workers and all for like UK. Those are jobs. So it depends, like I said, it depends on the country. Decide on the countries you want to. There are people that they just said it that I can never go to the UK. There are people that say I can never go to France. So they have they have their choices. So if I go and start mentioning healthcare work for UK, do you get? It's not like people don't
yes.
really know answers. It's not like people don't already know even what we are saying in these webinars. It's just to help them to even understand better in a legal, legitimate way that, oh, these are legal, legitimate ways you can.
Now I feel like giving a standing ovation.
Why?
Don't mind me. All right. Let's see if we have any other. Okay.
Someone
Digital.
asked the question. Hey, God, do.
Okay. I'm trying to project, but I think my network is deciding to betray me. Yeah, you have the question now.
Yeah, the person said, how can someone relocate as a digital nomad? And what would you say about adapting to cultures and minimizing culture shocks? Sorry, I'm not sure. Is it that you are a digital nomad or like relocating to go to be a digital? Sorry, please, can you explain the question?
Okay. I, me or aim.
You
Most
now.
is you. Okay, yeah, digital nomad are mainly people that work from home in the in the digital
Ah,
marketing space
okay.
or in the tech space
Ah,
generally.
okay.
Like,
Oh,
I know countries like Portugal offer the program, digital nomad. I know series of a couple of countries that has a digital nomad program in. Yeah, even UK tech talent is actually still for digital nomad. It's more or less like, on the case of work whereby we are applying through a company, and then the company is the one that will be guiding your or your recommendation, your sharing, and the likes. In this case, you are basically applying through a particular channel, telling them of your skill sets, telling about the kind of clients and contribution that you've made. Probably, in fact, if you have a startup, they all add up, and then your revenue, because for a data nomad, no, they understand that you are not going to be making money from, as in, I mean, direct through working with a company within the environment, but they believe that you'll be working with companies outside their own particular country. So basically, they are just giving you a kind of accommodation for you to explore your talents.
okay,
So
actually, he explained, he said in general, for people who work remotely, it was one of the things I wanted to mention in my presentation, but I kind of skipped it among the flipping of pages. So, of course, you can get remote jobs from Nigeria as well. I know many people that are currently working as, it's not even only tech, like customer service representatives. I think there's even one again, customer service representative. Then there is I've forgotten the name. So they do all these things from home. I think it is pro- if I remember, I'll mention it. So you can definitely get. How do you get these jobs? You get it online as well. So he said, how can someone relocate as a digital? Most of the time, first secure the remote job from Nigeria and be doing it. Even if, because most of these remote jobs, they always ask in the application that, are you looking to relocate to our country? As like, first say no, say no, because if you say yes, they'll say sorry, we are not in the position to offer a relocation in the future. So first say no, take the job, use that opportunity to save money in Nigeria. If you are earning in foreign currency in Nigeria with the exchange rate, that's a lot of savings. So first say no, accept it, save up, and at the end of the day, when you are with them for 1 year, they are used to you already. So you can propose it to them that, oh, what about if I sponsor my visa myself? Are you guys going to be able to give me like the work authorization I need to apply for a visa? So most of them, they are just scared of the exorbitant amounts they will have to pay for you to come over. So ask them yourself that, what if I'm able to sponsor my visa from here? Would you guys be willing to give me a work authorization or something? And most of the times they cannot say no. So they'll give you the work authorization because you're already working with them. You've been working with them for 1 year. So even the embassy cannot refuse you because you've been working with them. They gave you a work authorization. The only difference is that you're sponsoring yourself to go over there. So that's a very good way and a very, very smart way for you to actually go. So most of the time, what the mistake Nigerians make is that when in the application form, when they ask that, are you looking to relocate, all of them start saying story like, yes, so please, oh, it's my dream, I cannot wait to be there. And next thing those people will just say, sorry, we're not looking to take in some, because that's it, it's a kind of trick question to see if you're, just say no. If they say, are you looking for it in the future, say no. So first thing, even though you're actively searching for relocation means, use it as an opportunity for yourself to make
Uh,
money and everything.
you know the funny thing, I recently have a contract with a US university.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not as a student, like as a worker, like as a contract a worker.
Mm-hmm.
The contract is actually a year, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to chill till the end of the year and see if there's an extension. As there's going to be an extension, I think I
Mm-hmm.
would just probably follow your advice.
Yes, that's it. So you can sometimes the problem is them sponsoring you. But when they see that you're actually independent and you can ask yourself, you can talk about it that, oh, I don't mind sponsoring myself. You just need to give me the papers I need, the legal papers that if I was living there, you'd have given me anyways for me to get my visa. And they'll give you. So some have gone through that route. And then he asked, what would you say about adapting to cultures and minimizing culture shock? Just be open minded. There are some things that you eat that you feel like vomiting, but don't let them know when you first get there. You'll be fine at the end of the day. Like you
Is
cannot,
that how you've been doing it?
to be honest though, because actually before I came for this podcast, I already had a podcast this morning. So it was kind of like the same thing, but this one is a French podcast and they were asking, oh sorry, this is not a podcast but a webinar. So they were asking as well when I came to France, how did I adapt and everything. I'm like, of course there were foods that I've never tasted before. There were things that were bitter, things that didn't have any taste, things that they were like they didn't have any pepper as well. Like, you feel like throwing up when it gets here. But I just had to eat them. I had to, like, I had to summon up courage. And now these days, sometimes I surprise myself when I'm eating these things just normally. So you need to be open minded. And I feel like at the end of the day, you'll be fine with the culture and everything. We are Nigerians. We always adapt to whatever situation we are, except you are just that close minded Nigerian. But at the end of the day, Nigerians will always thrive anywhere. That's why Nigerians are in every country in the world. You will go to Asia, go to anywhere. Like there's a Nigerian there, at least one, because we'll be fine. That's it.
Okay,
You say
yeah,
you guys are only talking about Nigerians.
we have just
Okay.
5 minutes left. So
Okay.
Mawanda, I will just give you this. I'm sorry, Mawanda. She already mentioned at the beginning that she would only be concentrating on Nigeria. So we are very sorry that we will not be able to
Sorry,
cater.
it's because they told me to concentrate on Nigerians. They said exploring legitimate
Midday, you
opportunities
don't
to
have to push
relocate
the
from
day. You
Nigeria.
don't have to push the
Don't put it
day.
on my neck. It's on you guys. It's on you
Okay, yeah.
people.
You have a comment from Mirita, and then after that, let's try to keep it to 45 minutes, and then we can end the session. And
Uh,
okay, yeah,
can
guys. Let me. I'm very sorry for the cuts. We have a session immediately after this. Okay, by 8 o'clock, so we have a 15 minutes break. So if you would like to attend, it is basically we are basically discussing X monetization, what we now know, what we used to know as Twitter, and then like if you are finding means to monetize your Twitter account to make some money with it via tweeting to build your audience of Twitter. And our speaker is Suraj. He's a pretty much Twitter influencer, and it's something that will be very engaging. So yeah, Mide, I'm very sorry you still have the platform. So
no,
just
it's
click
okay.
the subscribe button and then the notification bell, and then the seconds we go live, YouTube's going to do you the pleasure of notifying you, and then just opt in. Yeah.
She's saying, can I get a link on okay. Please, can you help me with a group? I can always get link on caregivers in Canada or UK. Yeah, you can send me a message on Instagram. I will send you two links that I have. So yeah, just send me a message on Instagram. Mide Nancy So I think that will be fine. Just send me a message on Instagram and I can send it to you. And or if you have a means of reaching the convener of this webinar, I can send the links to him and he can send them to you. So okay, thank you for the
All
opportunity.
right. Thank you very much. Rita, you can username on Instagram. Username on Instagram is Nancy, and for Insight, just try to connect with Insight via insights underscore ng underscore on Instagram and Twitter. It is easy to connect with Insight. Just if I visit www.insight.ng, and you'll be able to get in touch with someone. And if there's a need, you can get in touch with me through any of the person that attend to you. All right. Thank you very much, Mide, and it is a
Yeah,
great
you're
pleasure having you
welcome.
today.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Good night.
Okay, good night. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So I will end this broadcast now. So if you would love to join us in the second session, as already said, we will basically be talking about, well, I don't have it here, Twitter monetization. Okay, so please just click on the notification bell, click on the subscribe button, and what YouTube is going to do, is going to notify you the very seconds we go live. It is going to be 8 o'clock p.m. Today. So yeah, thank you very much for staying with us till this moment.